for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good.
Well, good evening on this Thursday. It's a surprise. We're back here. This just reminds me of last season when we were here last Thursday in the village. So I'm pretty excited about tonight. We have a 1-hour special, as you know, and we do have a special guest that will be joining us in a few moments. Before that happens, I do want to say, you know how we do Village. Please like, share, and please comment. We want to be able to go into the comments after this show and know that you were there, know that you had something to contribute, know that you understood what the village was all about. And it's really about us coming together, sharing information, empowering one another, and just, you know, going forth, living our best life, right? So I'm really glad to be here this evening. I do want to take a moment and let you know who we will be having this coming Sunday. As you know, we are still celebrating National Women's History Month. So with that being said, this coming Sunday is the last episode in a series dedicated especially for women. So if this is your first time, please come back. Check out all the information that we've shared this month. This coming Sunday, we have Dr. Thopel, and he's an OBGYN, and he's going to be talking about hormones and the change. So ladies, listen, it's a part of life, but we need to have the conversation. So he has a lot of good nuggets, good information to share with us, and I can't wait. So before our guest comes in, I do want to express to you the importance of having a financial coach. Trust me, we're not selling anything tonight. We're not trying to promote anything, but I am personally saying that you need to have someone that is educated in the market, and not just the market, but in monetary policy. Okay. So we need to know what's going on in the government and how that shifts the market, how that shifts the economy. And then you can make the best economic decision for you and your household. So that's what I have in Francis. And again, you know, we're not selling anything. I just want you to know that that Francis is rock star, you know. Thanks, Pam. Yeah, so she's rock star, and I have definitely learned a lot about being responsible for my finances. So so listen, before I bring Francis out, I want to also say, make sure you have streams of income, right? Not just your job. And I know that people have a 401k and you feel like you're sitting on a good nest egg, but you've already seen how it got hit when the market crashed. And let's just say it happens again, and it will. What's that going to mean? So yes, you have that, and that's wonderful. And hopefully you're investing in a way that are recession-proof type investments. That's how your portfolio is structured. But outside of that, think about a side hustle. Think about something that you do that's going to generate money. I saw that my friend, ex-coworker, ex-business lady, Maria, is in the chat, and and Maria and I used to sell things on Facebook Marketplace, and that was very lucrative. So I just wanted to drop that in there because I know Frances is going to have a lot of information that she wants to share. So a little bit about Frances. She's been in finance over 20 years. She is a former investment advisor. She focuses on training the small investor. And she provides financial coaching for nonprofit and for-profit organizations. So, Village, help me welcome Frances Smith-Dean. Hi, Frances. Uh-oh. Looks like we're having some internet challenges, but she is cute. So until she works that out, listen, I want to talk a little bit about the evolution of things. Frances has a lot of information that she's going to be sharing, but when I think about the evolution of things, it really helps put things in perspective for me. And so this is why the direction the world is going makes sense. So think about it just for a minute. Take this little 30-second journey with me. In the beginning, when we were to buy different things from each other, we were taking, your goat, your dove, whatever it was, but, there wasn't money per se. So that was the first stage. With your belongings, whatever it was. You had some wheat, you were selling your wheat, whatever you're farming, what you were doing, then that is what you used. But then we went into, I believe, the gold. And so, people were exchanging, gold and things of that nature. Okay. And then after that, we came into the paper dollar. And so that's when, we started, having a wallet and, your ones, it had different denominations, right? We had the 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. And so, then we kind of evolved into that. And then I remember, I don't know about y'all, but I remember when we first started using debit cards. And I just remember we were like, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want the electronic. They're going to lose my money. No, I want to use cash. But what ended up happening was whether we wanted to or not, debit cards came in and moved and, moved some stuff out the way. If you remember, I think even food stamps used to be paper, but then we went into a electronic even with that. And so from the electronic, we are going into a digital age. And so for me, I had to look at it from that perspective to know where we started to where we're going. And so with that, I'm going to see if we can welcome Frances back into the village. Hi, Frances.
Hi, Kim. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We're ready for you.
Okay. So today, guys, I'm not going to be able to use slides, but I'm going to make sure you get all the information because I don't want to be thrown out of the chat. So I want to welcome each of you. Thank you guys for your time. And I hope that you enjoy my presentation. So make sure you have your pencils and your papers because what we're going to discuss today is the new normal and how to prepare ourselves. So the first topic is GDP. GDP is gross domestic product. Why does it matter? It matters because if our country stops production or producing or growing, it means that we will have to go to a new normal in how we recreate ourselves as a country. The United States GDP has been number one for years. But as we have an aging population, with the baby boomers going into retirement, then the GDP, it will be of concern over the next 10 years. Our next term for today is the Bretton Woods Agreement. Bretton Woods Agreement. So what is that? The Bretton Woods Agreement was an agreement that was given to by all of the countries after World War II, where they got together and the United States took the lead, and that's how the dollar emerged as the world reserve currency. Now, what you need to know is this. October 15th, 2020, the IMF asked the following. They asked the United States and the other world global countries to renegotiate. So with that renegotiation, we must understand the following. How does that affect the United States citizen? It means that we're going to have some changes in our lifestyle. The Bretton Woods system of monetary management, it allows us now to be the world leader. We do everything in dollars. Oil is priced in dollars. Gold is priced in dollars. All major commodities are priced in dollars. With the changes of this agreement, and it might not be like tomorrow, but it will come into manifestation now over the next decade. Once this agreement is recreated, a new world reserve currency now will emerge. There are two choices currently: the yuan with China or the SDRs. SDR stands for Special Drawing Rights. Special Drawing Rights. The SDRs now are issued by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. And as a result of this new currency, we may be pegged to it, and it's a basket of currencies. So that is a very important term for you to know. And now you must understand how these changes within our economy will force us to this new normal. July of this year, the United States will implement a digital currency. Currently, the Fed of Boston and MIT are working together to develop a prototype. So the issuance of a new digital dollar will transform us, or transfer us, I should say, from a fiat-based system to a digital dollar system. I want you to notice this. It's nothing to be afraid of, but you must now understand why these terms and why these things are important. And in order for you to get ahead of the game, we ask you at the Zan Wesley Holmes Jr. Community Outreach Center to educate yourself. As executive director there, we teach a class entitled Cash Flow, Collateral, and Leverage. We speak monthly on topics of economics and finance with a focus on macroeconomics. You also need to know what things are happening globally in order for you to stay prepared and ahead of the game. So The next two important people I want to present to you will be Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary, and Jerome Powell. Why Janet Yellen? Here's why. There are three major areas of focus. Janet Yellen, she is the first female to serve as U.S. Secretary, but she's also the former Federal Reserve Chair. Janet Yellen has three major interests. Number one, the green energy and climate change. Why is this important? Because she has created a special committee within Treasury to look at this matter. So that means the United States will begin looking at policy and investing money in the green energy and climate change. Number two, one of her major concerns is full employment. Full employment might sound good, but full employment means inflation. Number three, bank share buybacks. She's a big encourager of the banks beginning to buy back their shares. So let's look at each one individually of her concerns. First, green energy and climate change. Here's what you need to know. Weather is a major disruptor to our Earth's atmosphere. And recently in Texas, we had a freeze which caused what? Major disruptions in our electrical grid. So as this new infrastructure bill is laid out or rolled out by the Biden administration, you need to sort of get prepared in two ways. Number one, what type of opportunities job-wise will I be able to take advantage of? And number two, what opportunities investment-wise will I be able to take advantage of? As an investor, you must now do your due diligence on the green energy from solar, wind, thermal, and other forms like natural gas. These will be very important in the near future. As the U.S. economy begins to change, also the global economy will join the U.S. in this deluge of green energy and climate change discussions. Number two, the full employment. We know that many people were disappointed when they did not include the $15 an hour wage. Yes, that was a major throwback, but what you have to understand is this. Even though the U.S. economy is coming back, what you have to know is that do the corporations have the ability to pay the $15 an hour wage without creating layoffs? So let's say they would have put the $15 hour wage out there, but a lot of layoffs or part-time work would have been created. And that's not really what the Biden administration wanted for the American people. So as we move forward, my advice to you all is this. Begin to research entrepreneurship opportunities. Entrepreneurship is going to be a catalyst for the U.S. economy. Yes, many businesses have closed and gone bankrupt, small businesses, and that's because we are going through an economic transformation. This new normal will transform the brick and mortar to the online platform. Preparing for this new normal in the platform and the sharing economies will be very beneficial to each of you. So as you look at new horizons everyone with a full-time job or everyone with a part-time job began to look at opportunities of seasonal employment through your entrepreneurship opportunity, or create a plan where you can transform from your full-time employment to a full-time entrepreneurship. And lastly, her concern was bank share buybacks. Well, what does a buybacks do for the companies? When the companies begin to buy back their shares, it will cause a rise in the share price. So when Treasury Secretary Yellen encouraged the banks to begin buying back their shares, we will see a rise in the bank price, of the bank share price. Our next person that we will focus on today is Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Why? Because Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell controls now the monetary policy. Monetary policy is important to us because the chairman and his committee, they determine the flow of money in and within and out of the economy. And they do it by using a tool called interest rates. Well, Chairman Powell has some concerns, and we're going to take a little bit deeper dive so that you can understand what Chairman Powell has been telling us. Since August of 2019, we've been warned by Chairman Powell as to the state of this new economy. Number one, he says, we're going to a new economy. It's going to be different from the old economy. This economy will rely more on technology versus what we currently have now. And the new economy will displace workers. So what does this mean? It means that the businesses are now in an innovation cycle. Innovation cycle is a technological cycle where they're going to do things faster with more speed and more precision. Within the innovation cycle, you're going to have algorithms, Internet of Things, blockchain technology, and robots. Most of this can replace the humans. And Chairman Powell has noted this. And the displaced workers now must do the following things. They must, one, reskill and retool. Chairman Powell admitted that this is going to be our challenge for our workforce. We're going to have to reskill and retool America. So I tell people this, you have to go into industries where robots are not needed. My advice to each of you, remember the old vocational education programs. Those programs are needed back in America. Why? Because we need electricians. We need plumbers. We need welders. We need all of those skilled people who can build America 2.0. With skilled labor such as that, the American dream for many people will come to pass. But without this type of skilled labor, everybody can't be a doctor. Everybody can't be a CEO. Everybody can't be an entertainer. But the skilled workforce in America needs to and must come back. So the need for the vocational education should be our top priority. Next is the digital dollar. As I said earlier, July of 2021, the Federal Reserve of Boston and MIT are working collectively to produce a new digital US dollar. Chairman Powell is investigating how this new digital dollar will be circulated throughout the United States. As we move to this new digital dollar, I know many people like to have their money, they like to feel their money or hold their money. Well, we're going to slowly transition to this new system. So we want you to be aware and we want you to be ready. But number 4, his main concern is the debt. Chairman Powell has noted on several occasions that the debt is unsustainable. Our debt to GDP ratio is out of the wall. And because of the debt to GDP ratio being so high, it could cause for a collapse in the currency or a debt crisis. So to many of you out there, as Americans, we have to be concerned about the debt. We know that the debt in America is unsustainable. So what is it that we're going to do next? We must grow the GDP. As I said earlier, GDP matters. Growing the gross domestic product will help America be able to pay its obligations. But without a growing and robust GDP, we can find ourselves into a spiraling down economy. So next on our list, we must understand what it means to be in an innovation cycle. The business cycle has 5 major areas, stages, I should say. The first is new venture. Second, proliferation. Third, regulation. Fourth, consolidation. And fifth, innovation. When we're looking at the business cycle, we're looking at various stages of the cycle. First is new venture, then proliferation, then regulation. Fourth is consolidation and innovation. We're in 2 Americas right now. Yes, I know you see all of the polarization, but polarization is as a result of inequality. We have America 1.0 that's on the brink of collapse. And then we have America 2.0 that is in a pioneering stage and will allow and create more millionaires and billionaires than ever. In America 1.0 is the third industrial revolution. America 2.0 brings in the fourth industrial revolution. So, understanding the third and the fourth, let me give you a definition for the fourth, because that's something you need to now focus on. The fourth industrial revolution is a way of describing the blurring of boundaries between the physical, digital, and biological worlds. So what does that mean? It means that now your ability to do business across global borders is about to change. One of the newest industries in the fourth industrial revolution is DeFi, or Decentralized Finance. Another industry in the fourth industrial revolution is EV, or electric vehicles. And as we move from electric vehicles, we will move to autonomous vehicles, such as electric trucks, electric cars, and driverless trucks and driverless cars. All of these new innovations within our global society will propel millions and billions of people. But with the infusion now of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and 3D printing, we have a plethora of opportunities if you learn about the blockchain. Why? Because the blockchain is the organizational method for ensuring the integrity of transactional data. The blockchain is the foundation of the fourth industrial revolution. So understanding about things about the blockchain and what is on the blockchain will be advantageous to each of you. Currently, if you're working in, let's say, America 1.0, if your company is transitioning to America 2.0, that means that they have implemented something from the blockchain. You need to find out about this and understand how you can be a part of that team. Why? Because it will be the blockchain and the revolutionary opportunities that companies will be able to dissolve managerial departments, and they will be able to consolidate. So understanding the blockchain is to your advantage, as well as understanding how the blockchain will revolutionize your business, or how it will revolutionize the business, the department in which you work in. So let's look at you positioning. What are some steps that you need to take in order to position yourself? First, understand the difference between America 1.0 and America 2.0. 2, research and do your due diligence. That's my word of the year, because what happens if we don't sit down and begin to do our due diligence, we'll find ourselves locked out of this fourth industrial revolution. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself by reading books, and I will make some suggestions later on. Also invest in yourself by attending conferences and reading newspapers and articles. Create a regimen and have an accountability partner. At the Zan Wesley Holmes Junior Community Outreach Center, we make sure that in our classes, especially our finance classes, we have accountability partners. Why? Accountability partners can help you stay and maintain your goals and objectives by keeping you on track. You know, this has been a great opportunity, and we want to make sure that you get in on what's about to happen next. So here's some sectors I want you to look at as you're doing your due diligence. Number 1, DNA sequencing. DNA sequencing, for those in the medical industry, will be the next wave. Number 2, robotics. Number 3, energy storage. Number 4, artificial intelligence. Number 5, blockchain technology. And number 6, cryptocurrencies. Now notice I haven't said too much about crypto, but I will say this. When we're talking about cryptocurrencies, we're really talking about decentralized finance. So as America 2.0 moves into this space, you now need to educate yourself and understand some of the foundational principles. So here's some things you need to understand about cryptos. One, you need to understand about blockchain, what it is, what it does. Two, you need to understand the term decentralized finance. Three, you need to understand what Ethereum and Bitcoin. And number four, you also need to understand about storage, wallets, hard, cold, and exchanges. Because as we move to America 2.0, America 2.0 will seem like the Jetsons. Here's some other terms you must know too. Modern monetary theory, MMT. Number two, universal basic income. Number three, neo-feudalism. And number four, Society 5.0. So, as America 2.0 begins to move in a fashion of speed and just, smart cars, smartphones, smart appliances. When you go to work, you get in your car is going to talk to you and it's going to say, you need to pick up the following groceries. Or your stove will go on and be able to cook the meal before you come home. So the way we used to do things, we will no longer do it because of all of these smart devices within our home. So for people who are not able to take advantage of the information that I'm giving you, some of them will be forced into universal basic income. Why? Because of the job landscape. Remember now, what did I say to you about Chairman Powell? He was concerned about the debt. He said that the debt was unsustainable. He was also concerned about the new economy. He said, we're not going back to the old economy, the old way. He was letting us know that America 2.0 is now on the horizon. And because of this new economy, technology will displace workers. Why? Because we have to get skilled workers in position to take advantage of these new opportunities. The skilled workers must now understand what it is and what they need to do so that they can rebuild America 2.0. Some of the greatest opportunities in space, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering will take place in America 2.0. As America begins to ramp up for this new phase in our history, I want to engage each of you to begin to do your due diligence and your research. Ask yourself, what side of the track do I want to be on when this America 2.0? Do I want to still be stuck in America 1.0? Or do I want to be able to move forward to America 2.0? And also understand this, that America must grow. So GDP does matter. Yes, we're going to have a great, robust GDP this year. We may even have it in the first half of next year. But we must continue the progress and grow America for years to come. Finally, I want to say to each of you that this is a new dawning. This is a new opportunity. We need you to, one, have an accountability partner. Have a group of people around you now that you can discuss the topics that I shared with you on today. Two, we need you now to also do your due diligence. Research the areas in which I just spoke about. And remember that this is the opportunity of a lifetime. The fourth industrial revolution. It's up to you to decide which side you want to be on. Here's some of the sectors again that you need to begin to research: DNA sequencing, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and cryptocurrencies. Each of these areas, you may not want to tackle them all, but tackle one or two. Understand what these new opportunities will do for you. Also, I want you to be aware of the 6 stages of the life cycle of money. Why? Because when Chairman Powell says that the debt is not sustainable, we have to understand where we are in the life cycle. The first stage is the barter market. The second stage is the free market. The third is government regulation. The fourth is government monopolizes money. And the fifth is government debases money. So we are in the stage of the debasement. The dollar used to be king. But now, as we transform and as other emerging markets come up, you now need to know what you have to do. Why? Because as we begin to transition into the fourth industrial revolution, the dollar as we know it will no longer be the reserve currency. When that will happen, I'm not saying tomorrow, but at some point, we will have to face that fact. And as we face it, we're going to have to be cognizant of maybe hyperinflation. And if we have to face hyperinflation, you being on the right side of the technology will make a difference. So I want to thank you. I want to thank each of you for taking your time. And for those who may listen to this podcast later, my name is Frances Smith Dean. I'm the Executive Director of the Zan Wesley Holmes Jr. Community Outreach Center in Dallas, Texas. We create self-sustaining pathways out of poverty for young people and families through job training, placement, and education. We focus on entrepreneurship, STEM workforce training, and asset building. We are concerned about America. We are concerned about those of you to get into America 2.0. The changes within our system are happening fast and rapidly. We don't want you to be left behind. So if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us 3 ways. 1, our Facebook page, the Zan Wesley Holmes Jr. Community Outreach Center. 2, you can email us at info@zwhjcoc.org. info@zwhjcoc.org. Or you can call and leave a message, 214-324-4443. I want to say to each of you, and I know you may have questions, and I'm going to leave some time for questioning. I want to say to you, this is an exciting time in our country. This is also an exciting time globally because you will have opportunities you never dreamed of. Imagine working in another country as an American. You will have those opportunities. You will have opportunities to do new and exciting ventures in business. So today, marks the brand new start of something great, from green energy to DNA sequencing to cryptocurrencies. America 2.0 is on the move. Don't get left behind. This is the new normal. Thank you.
Just a sample. That is just a sample, you all, because I'm telling you, she gives us the business. She gives us the business and holds us accountable and tells us to go do your due diligence, do your research. So she piques your interest and she lets you know, and not just your interest, but lets you know what's happening globally. I can tell you personally, I was not aware. It wasn't on my radar. I was looking at what's on sale, on Amazon. I was not thinking about, what was happening in China and Russia. But Francis helped me to understand that I need to have a global perspective and not just, a perspective about, me and my phone no more. Come on now, we need to be a little bit more progressive and plan for our financial future. So, Francis, let me ask you this. For those who this is their first time hearing something like this.
Yes.
Their very first time, and they're saying, that's a bit far-fetched. What would you say to that person?
I would say to that person that when the new normal, when we needed vaccines in America, we couldn't even get it because that was outsourced to China. When we need certain supplies, for example, currently in the automotive industry, Japan, the semiconductor plant had a fire. We're in a backlog for semiconductors. And not just in automobiles, but in laptops. So guess what? We're going to feel the inflation. And also just locally here in Texas, when the freeze happened, petroleum is not just oil, but plastics. We're going to be affected because the semiconductors go in the plastics, and the plastics plant is shut down, and the semiconductor plant is shut down. So we try to help you understand how things work. And in understanding how things work, you have to also know this, that we have to do this together. This is a team sport. And that's what, I tell the tribes. We have to do this together. Kim, there is no way that you all could have done all that reading. Your tribe did chapters 1 through 5. Mm-hmm. It took a team to do that. You all did an excellent presentation. Yes. One of our book studies, everyone, is Life After Google by George Gilder. Very, very excellent book. It breaks it down. Also, we did another book study on New Normal. Not New Normal, on The Only Game in Town by Muhammad El-Arian. These are books that you need to read that deals with the current marketplace and the macro economy. And Kim can tell you, she is the leader of the Judah tribe. And they broke it down. They explained it. They gave us the essentials of the book. And it's important. It's important for you to know. It's important for you to understand. And it's important for you to have these discussions. No more can we just sit idly by and be passive. We have to become active, and we have to understand, how will this affect me now and my family and community years to come?
Agreed. So I don't know if we have any questions, but I can ask them all day.
Go ahead.
For those that are who may not have a portfolio, they may just have their 401k. How do you suggest that they, I know you talked about having a side hustle,
Right.
but
I
outside
talk
of
about having business.
if they're not business savvy, how do you suggest they get ready for this? And then go into, and I think we're going to close out with this, go into what it's going to look like if you're on universal basic income.
Okay. So let me talk about the 401k. So if you have a 401k, you are entitled, you're called a passive investor. What does that mean? It means that you're giving your money to, let's say, a Fidelity or another a group to manage it or to put funds in there. And so you just take your money from your 401k pre-tax, and they allocate it the way you've designated it. My advice to you, at least 2 to 3 times a year, you need to sit down with the advisors to see if you're on track. No longer can you just passively or idly allow that money to accumulate without you now going to those advisors and saying, look, these are my goals, these are my objectives. What funds can I best move my money to? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, universal basic income. Many people do need universal basic income, but at some point, there's a price. The printing of money for universal basic income, we're taking it from our future. And what could happen, and that's why I want you to read about neo-feudalism. Neo-feudalism is a concept that could happen in America if we're not careful. Because at some point, they could tell you how to spend that money. So they'll give you that money. Right now, they're testing it. So they'll give you the money, but at some point now, they have the right to say, you must spend it by this time period, and here are the things that you can only spend it on. So if you don't want to be controlled, universal basic income might not be the best thing. But you may need it right now, and I understand that, and I'm not saying anything against it if it's right or wrong, but I want you to consider all of the pros as well as the cons that they could tell you. When people say, well, they can't tell me what to do. Yes, they can, because they're giving it to you. And they expect for you to do what? Spend it a certain way. And they could do that. So those are choices that, you need to really think about. And those are also choices you need to really say, if I'm going to go in that direction, what else do I think I need to do in order to be able to have some freedom or flexibility? And I don't think people do think about that. They are becoming accustomed to universal basic income, and then they're not productive. They're losing their ability to be productive. And that's not what you want to do. You want to always be productive. Go ahead.
I feel like there's a soft sell happening now with this stimulus money that's coming in. It's kind of conditioning you to get the money from the government and then just kind of, live your life and do your thing. And so shifting that demographic of people over to the universal basic income won't be a problem, but you don't understand what that's going to mean for the economy. If you're getting $2,000 and bread is $5.
Yes, true. And what they don't also understand is this: the debt is not sustainable. What happens if we have a currency crisis? That $2,000, like you said, the inflation is just going to be tremendous. And that means you're going to need more money. But if we're not producing anything, if we're not growing, we're going to have challenges. We're going to have challenges. So here's what I tell the believer. Remember, you created in the image of God. You created after your likeness. after his likeness. And because we're created in his image and after his likeness, it's your responsibility to be fruitful, meaning to produce. So we now have to produce. We have to take those talents and resources and ideas that he gave you, and it's now time for you to produce. So, Kim, I want to thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Logan and who's your producer and your whole team, because we really want to make sure that we educate people about the new trends in the macro economy, as well as about the opportunities that you could take advantage of when it comes to investing. We have nobody in the country has a program like ours, and most people say that. And so we're just grateful that the word is out. Now we're in several states, Florida being one, Georgia, Massachusetts, Maryland, Mississippi, and Ohio, and in Los Angeles. So in California. And so I appreciate everyone getting the word out and letting people know that we have people on the front line who are trying to help you and assist you understand and navigate the economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Frances. We appreciate you for coming on and taking a time out just to educate people. And I can tell you that she just has a heart to for the small investor, for the small investor. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you. We definitely will have you back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So listen, Village, that's we are right at our hour. And so again, please share this link, watch it again, take your notes. Things are changing. I'm not going to say it's getting ready to change. Things are changing, and you need to be ready. You do not want to be left behind. Let's just say that. You just don't. So get yourself together, get your income, figure out your side hustle, figure out your investments, and let's do this thing together. The Village, we are going to do it. All right. So I will see you Sunday with Dr. Thopel. He is going to be talking about Hormones, the Change, which is our last episode in the month full of episodes for women as we celebrate the National Women's History Month. Just remember that silence creates distance, but conversations with Kim builds the village. Thank you and bye-bye.